living to help women just like you to be the hero of their own story. So, Dr. Marcie Ross' class is now in session.
Thank you, Logan. Okay, so I've been sitting here. I'm not a lifer, but I am going to be a lifer for this conference. I'm like, I've told my husband and my children, like, leave me alone. They're like, I thought you weren't talking until later on. I'm like, oh no, I'm in here for the whole day. So I have been so fed and just, it's a wonderful experience. So thank you so much, Sansaray, for putting this together. Thank you so much for all the energy that we feel in these internet streets. If you guys don't know, Mercury is in retrograde, which apparently is affects technology. I love that we are pushing past. I love that there's still 100 women in here ready to get it and keep on getting it. And thank you so much for the grace that you guys have given all of us as we uh, get through these technological difficulties or whatever may come. We are still here, right? We are pushing past it. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. I said all that to say, hopefully, to give me the grace too. I don't know what's going to happen. You guys see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's see. Hashtag winning. So thank you so much, Logan, for that wonderful introduction. Every time I hear it, I feel like I'm still not done yet. Every time I hear it, people are like, oh my gosh, I'm like, oh no, I could feel things happening. I can feel things stirring. And when you walk in your purpose and you walk with intention, things happen. And when you put action into your intentions, things happen. And so I'm going to be sharing the 3 A's to help you live healthier and happier after 40. So I hear all the time, number one, I serve women, and I birthed 2 boys. I have a husband and a male dog. And they're always like, well, what are you going to do stuff for the guys? No, I am here for the ladies. And then I hear, well, what about women under 40? What about us? I'm not excluding you, but I would say that women over 40 is my sweet spot, because if you have reached 40, then you understand that at this stage in your life, things change. Oh, wait, Logan, I got my own little timer here so I don't get it. So let me turn it on. But when after 40, things happen. Well, especially if you're a woman of color, you may not look like it because black don't crack, but it does crack, right? But at 40, it may not show. But sure enough, if you look in your blood levels physiologically, things are changing after 40, whether it's your hormone levels, whether it's your energy, it could be anything, your bone density changes. So there are things happening in particular that start around 40. And so because of that, it is, to me, it has become apparent that this is the population of women. This is my crew to serve. And of course, it's always a backstory, right? It's always a backstory to why we're connected, because of my own journey, where I can see around 40 is when I start asking myself a lot of questions. And you may too resonate with, am I going to continue my family? Right. It may be a time when at 40, you may say, am I either going to start a family? Am I going to continue to have children? Am I done having babies? Well, what about my career? Am I where I want to be? What about this relationship? Are we going to move forward or are we going to end it? What about my marriage? So at this time, some of those questions you may reflect back on and recognize that these are questions you ask yourself around this season in your life. And so I want to talk about these three A's, in particular for women over 40, but you will find that they will serve you no matter what age or what season you are in your life. And so, what's our goal for this conversation? And I always say I don't present, I have lots of webinars, I do lots of things, but I love a conversation, even when we are in the virtual world, right? We've been able to have a conversation, and that is where the magic happens, in the conversation. And so this conversation is really to help any woman who wants to better understand that she is the architect of her health and happiness. If you've heard so much great information, and so if right now you're feeling like, oh, I'm slipping, I need to do better, you feel like you've been trying and you may feel like you failing or I'm a failure at this, I want you to release it. I want you to shed any shame that you're feeling about where your current state is right now, right? This is a time and a platform to pour self-love, patience, and gratitude on yourself. And I say those are the first things you do in order to lose weight. Because when you shed those things, you may not see it on your body, but it releases weight off your shoulders. Okay, so I want you to be in that space in this conversation. So Logan did a great job of saying who I am, what I've done. I just want to just take a minute to share what I've done in terms of creating, in particular, Edlin Essentials, which is a supplement company for women over 40. Again, because so many so much of our body and our life is changing after 40. And so I really just want to highlight this for a second because I have a special gift for you at the end and you'll understand why you should act. But our bones are changing. Our weight is shifting. We may now see like, oh, I did this 30 days here, this 10-day smoothie, the things we used to do in our 30s that would shed the weight fast or our quick fit, being on the fad diet kick don't work anymore. Like, what happened? I didn't lose the weight. We may have more weight around our midsections. We may have, right, the flashes, so anything may change. And so the reason that I'm so proud of what we were able to do with Edlin Essentials is because number one, I got to put my pharmacist's foot in the ingredients. I created the product and my company launched it. And it's specifically to help you with the hot flashes, your skin, your hair, because that also may thin as you age. And so I just wanted to really highlight that. And I'll be able to share some other information with you about the product and something I'm going to give to you. But also I want this to be reflective that when you look at what I've done, I want you to know that this is not a phase. This is not something I do flippantly. When it comes to women's health, I am in it to win it, right? So I want to share, if I can, just get your permission to what I say, #real talk. And to really have, I'm going to be vulnerable and share my journey because I hear it so often in other women. And although it's uncomfortable because we always like to put on our smiley face and say, how are you? I'm fine, right? We have our facade. I've long since shed mine, but I just know that being vulnerable is not easy for any of us. But I want to create this safe space for us. And so when you see this picture of me in my mid 30s on my wedding day and the December of last year when I turned 50, you may say, well, she look good. She don't, she looks good. Don't look like too much has changed. And so what I love to always share is Marsie's life in the dash, right? When you see somebody's, end of their life, they have the birth and they have their going home date. And what you don't see is what happened in the dash. That's where the life was lived. And so I want to just think about if you have gotten married or been married or had that moment where you just feel so good. On my wedding day, I was so hopeful, so excited, in love. I'm taking vows. Oh, I vow. Yes, I vow that. I'm vowing all the things. And before, just like thinking about getting up to the marriage, getting up to the I do's, right? So I'm in my mid 30s. I have just become a pharmacist a few years before. And you know how that feels when you graduate. Pharmacy school, getting a doctorate, if you got any advanced degree or a degree, you know it is not easy, right, Logan? You in it right now. It's not easy. And so when you walk across that stage and they give you that degree and you earn it, you got that, you like, hey, You can't tell me nothing. I'm in my mid-30s. My body is tight. I am feeling good about me and about all the things. I buy my first home on my own. I'm driving a Land Rover, my first little car, got a big car note, but I don't care because I am feeling myself, right? And so my energy is just amazing. And then I attract this wonderful person. We date for a little while, but I'm not really that pressed because I'm her. And so I'm feeling so good about myself. And then we actually fell in love on accident. Like just because we were both in a season of just loving ourselves, we connected on fitness. I'm a runner, used to be a runner, I should say. And we connected on being fit and healthy and vibrant. And so we fall in love, we get married, we get to our wedding day, and we get married April 1st of 2006. And the reason that's important is because my mom was like, because she's like, when you get married, when the grandbabies coming, you got the degrees, you got to have all these things. I'm ready to be a grandmother. And so when I said April 1st, everybody thought, okay, this is an April Fool's joke. Well, we got married in April, and I found out like a week before that I was actually carrying our first child, right? So my husband had a daughter from a previous relationship, but I was carrying our first child. And so I'm at this day, and I'm so excited and so full of love and optimism and, oh, life can't hurt, right? I got all the things. And then you see here a very different, obviously, I'm a mother of 3 children, and at 50 in 2020. And the smiles are just as genuine. But what I want to tell you is that I want to talk to you about my life in the dash. So in 2006, I go from single, in love, all these things I just shared with you, to being married. And April 1st, November 24th of the same year, I gave birth to our first son. So I gave my husband, or he gave himself a husband, a son, because of genetics. Anyways, but I had his first son, right? So I'm feeling good. 2 years later, in 2008, I birthed our second son. So in 2000 and in 2 years, I went from being single to being married and a mother of a big newborn and a toddler. Very different children. We know that, you think it's the same because they got the same DNA. No, we all of them different, right? Human beings. I birthed 2 different human beings. One is so full of energy and always on 10, like his mama. And then the second one is all clingy. I can't go nowhere, right? Where you going? Where you been? What you doing? I call my son husband, and he's a picky eater. So very different. And then in 2009, again, my career was booming. I'm feeling tired, but I'm still pushing through. And in 2009, I become an executive in corporate America. And so lots of change happened during this season in my life. And so, of course, I'm the mother doing all these things, adjusting to these new hats that I'm wearing. So I really just kept going. And every time, every day, I moved farther away from that woman that stood next to that man in that season of my life every day. But I don't say anything because I have the man, the money, the kids, the dog, the house. I have it all. So where's my space to complain? Who do I complain to? They'll be like, cry me a river, ma'am, right? But again, all these things rolling. I can't really lose the weight. I'm feeling overwhelmed. We bought a bigger home because, that's what you do. You got all these kids. You buy a bigger space. So now I'm living on an acre with this 5-bedroom house with all these responsibilities, right? On the flip side, my husband still has his 6-pack. He's still exercising. He's still doing those things because he had decided that he was going to keep some parts to himself. How y'all think I felt about him not surrendering all his whole? No, you give yourself to you empty. Like, where you doing? What do you mean you're going to exercise, right? I'm feeling unable to detach from all my responsibilities. So I share all this because it's important for you to know that sometimes it's like Maya Angelou said, you see my glory, but you don't know my story. And so in 2013, it's really when all those things came crashing down. Well, it was little by little, right? But it feels like an avalanche coming down on you, right? And so in 2013, it's really where I felt that I wanted to leave my husband. I would imagine myself running down the street in my bathrobe with my bathrobe just flapping because I'm running so fast. I wanted to run away from home. And it's a very real feeling. I felt resentment. I was angry all the time. I would never forget in the January or December of 2013, I'm do dinner because I'm a picky eater. I have all these things. Now dinner became so frustrating for me. And I've got dinner on the table and I say to them, I'm trying to feed the kids. And I say to my husband, okay, so what are we going to do for New Year's? Because of the obligatory date night, right? I didn't want to go on no dates with him, but I thought I read it somewhere you're supposed to do these dates. So he said, I don't really want to go. And it's so flippantly. And I was like, why? He said, because you're not fun anymore. I wish y'all can y'all see my face? So I feel like I say this because I really don't recall. Oh, of course, see technology. Let's hope it comes back. Oh, did it come back? Hold on. We're going to be paid. Did it come back? Yay. Okay.
5 minutes left, Dr. Marsie.
Okay, 5 minutes. All right, so let me hurry up. So all this is saying, he said I wasn't fun anymore. I knocked all the dishes off the table. And I was so angry because I couldn't believe it. I felt so offended. I felt, oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that. And long story short, we end up going to counseling because I wanted to get out the marriage. So we're in counseling. I quickly realized it really wasn't him. It was me. I was so unhappy with myself that I was unable to fulfill anybody if I wasn't fulfilled with myself. So after that, I went through the cycle of yo-yo dieting, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, right? I was what I call the queen of quick fixes and fad diets. And I was everything to everyone, but it doesn't matter who you are to other people. You have to be true to yourself first. So why does all this 27 minutes apply to you, right? So hopefully, I was able to let you see my journey and help you see. So if you could at all relate, I want to give these 3 A's to you, right? Awareness, accountability, and action. And the reason these A's are important because this is my whole process of me getting to the dash, other side of that dash that you saw, okay? I want to share Kay's story because when it comes to awareness, that's where I was lost. I didn't even know that I was unhappy. I didn't even really know that I had a choice. I thought I was just adulting, right? And so when you see that you're aware, for Kay, she wasn't aware that her health habits and all the yo-yo dieting, she kept going back to the starting line. What she realized was because she had so much guilt attached to food. She felt guilty if she didn't eat enough. She felt guilty if she ate the wrong food. She felt guilty if she skipped food. She felt guilty if she overate. And so that awareness changed the game for her. So awareness, right? So you need to know before you can grow. You need to know that, oh my gosh, I'm an emotional eater. Oh my gosh, I wasn't even aware. You ever go somewhere, you're like, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know that could happen. When you are aware, things change. Awareness is everything. It's the first step. You have to be aware you have a problem before you can even acknowledge, before you can take action. Awareness and accountability. And so for me, right, you cannot grow like, okay, I'm just going to with myself. Yeah, the thinking. Of course, God can help you with accountability, but you need a leader. You need someone in front of you to help guide you with the steps, right? And because you won't always feel like it, you won't always have motivation. So you need accountability and then action. So you may have all the best intentions, and intentions are critical because you intend to eat well, so you go and buy all the vegetables, right? You intend to eat a salad, so you buy the bags, spinach, you buy all the vegetables. How many times they go bad in your refrigerator? Okay, yeah, but your intention got the food in the house. So it's important to have intention. But if you do not couple it with action, you will never get the results. Okay, so intention plus action equals powerful results. And I read this in the Women's Health magazine, and it blew my mind. So I wanted to share it. And it's true that we really don't regret. We regret failure to act more than we regret an act. And so, how many times you're like, I wish I had a, right? The failure to act is more impactful than regretting an act. Okay. So, what they say, fail forward, fail often, right? Just action matters. So, our 3 A's, I know I was in my story long, but I wanted you to understand because people seem like, oh my gosh, you're doing amazing. I want you to know that it is a process. And so, the 3 A's, awareness, accountability, and action, are all the ways that will help you, no matter where you are, live healthier and happier. So I wanted to let you know about a free webinar that I'm giving that will help you, that we can expand on this. It's called, it's for women over 40. And if you're interested in learning how to live fit and fabulous, even when your schedule is cray cray, I want to invite you to register, right? So if you go to www.drmarsie.com, you can register for free. And I'm giving today for my book, The Health Coach Collective. When you register today, you will get a free chapter in this book as soon as you register. It's when you register, when you click it, you will download the chapter. Okay. And then I want to also offer you $10 off Edlin Essentials. And so it is, if you take a vitamin, you take anything, you won't have to take nothing anymore. You're looking for a fat burner, appetite suppressant, calcium for your bones, all the things. It has black cohosh in there for your hot flashes or any of your mood swings. I put my foot in it. And so I'm giving it $10 off for this conference only, and use the discount word confidence. Did I do it? How to do, Logan?
Perfect. Dr. Marsie, you're right on time. Awesome. Awesome. Everyone, please give her a big round of applause. Dr. Marsie, thank you so, so much. And I personally would like to take the time, Dr. Marsie, to not only thank you, but every single woman in this conference. You guys are an absolute inspiration for me. Black women unconditionally, Dr. Marsie, you said wear several different hats, and you are still able to change this world. And y'all look good while doing it. So I aspire to be half the woman all of you women here are. Thank you so much for sharing these beautiful words. I think we can bring back up that discount code, and I believe, yep, we are throwing her website in the chat. Great, lots of thank yous. And I think we're right on time to go to our next speaker. Dr. Marsie, thank you again so much.
There was one question, Logan, Dr. Marsie. I saw one which was, I have to read it. It says, I'm 39, can I join?
Okay. Because I mean, the thing about it is, if when I was in my 30s, I just don't know if you were at a place and you had the self-awareness, then you were ahead of where I was. You know, I wish someone, and I mean, you have your mom say, okay, you don't, it's going to get harder to lose weight when you get older. So watch that. But no one's really teaching you or showing you or giving you the tools that you can then implement. Because you can tell, I mean, all we feel inspired right now if you don't take action, nothing that we're saying really is going to matter. You know, you can have intention, start there, but whenever you can add action. So the answer is yes. I help all women.
Thank you.
Awareness, accountability, and action. Thank you, Dr. Marcie, for your 3 A's.